All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome here. Greetings from snowy Prague, Czech Republic. We are about to start shortly. So the entire webinar. So no worries. Just let's wait for everyone to arrive to this session, to join this session. Let's just make yourself comfortable and enjoy your coffee, tea, whatever you have over there, guys, to make your day warm and amazing. So let's see. I'm still seeing people joining in, so let's wait for them to settle down, to enjoy the coffee, etc. We will start shortly. Okay, people are still coming in. Let's wait a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. I'm seeing someone raising their hand saying hello. Hi, guys. Welcome. Welcome here. Like I said, make yourself comfy, get something to drink. Pretty much warm, I guess, in these days. We are in Central Europe, Prague. It's really snowy outside, cold. So I assume a lot of people are enjoying right now the hot beverages, and getting themselves warmer. Let's wait for the other people to join. Okay. I'm still seeing someone getting in. We still have 2 minutes until the release of the webinar. So let's wait for the people to come in. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm seeing that someone is joining again. Someone new is coming in. Hello, everyone, to you too. Welcome here and make yourself comfy. We will start shortly. So many people. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that, guys. All right, we have 1 more minute and then we will start with the webinar. Okay, 2 p.m. Sharp, Central European time. All right, I guess we can start, so let's move on. Guys, welcome everybody to today's webinar called Resource Management Tips and Tricks. I welcome you here again, like I said, make yourself comfy. My name is Jiří Čepe. I'm going to be your host throughout today's webinar. And together with me, I have here Peter and also Ben. Hello, Ben. And both gentlemen are going to be our main presenters. And I might say they are eager to share some juicy information and interesting information about this topic. But before we move forward, Peter, next slide if you can. I would like to ask you a question, and you're going to be able to answer this question in a few minutes. Let me just bring the pool. Okay, and the question is, how do you plan the allocation of human resources in your company? That is the beginning question from the start, so you can answer it. You should see it on your screens right now. So feel free, guys, to choose one of those answers to let us know how do you plan the allocation of human resources in your company. Okay, I'm seeing that most of you is choosing on project. We have three answers on project. We only assign tasks and we do not plan the utilization. So 72% of on a project. Okay, thank you so much for your answers. I am still seeing someone answering. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to stop it right now. I'm going to share very quickly with you the results. You should see the results right now on your screen. So as you can see, almost 71%, I mean 71% of you is using it, it's planning to use it like on the project. So thank you so much. And we can move on a little bit. So what you are about to see today. So we are about to see a presentation which is going to take about approximately 45 minutes. You can look forward to hear some interesting resource management informations combined with tips and tricks, starting with Peter's presentation and later continuing with Ben's presentation. No worries. We are going to dedicate a couple of minutes at the end of, the presentation. I mean, the entire webinar for the Q&A, where Peter will answer most of your questions as best as he can. You can even ask during the presentation in Q&A section, where we have our amazing colleague David, who is going to answer your questions also. So feel free to use the Q&A freely as you need. All right. Count with that all webinar is recorded, so you will receive follow-up email with recordings in next few days in case you are gonna miss something in the presentation which you would like to rewatch again. Okay, so and that's technically all from my side about the informations. So I would like to now pass the floor to Peter, who will continue with his presentation on this topic. So Peter, it's all yours.
Thank you. So hello, everybody. And as was said, today it will be mostly about the tip and tricks. So in upcoming minutes, I will mostly show you the experiences from our clients and of course, like the bunch of the experiences from our implementations. And we will be mostly discussing about the resource management plugin. So in the very first point, like we will see how to reserve the resources for the potential projects. Then we will have a look it will be very complex scenario. So how to react on the demands coming from the project managers, and then how to assign the concrete persons to that activities based on the availability and then the skill set. So hopefully this would be the very realistic scenario. And then like point number 3, we will see, of course, the utilization and then how to visualize like who is doing what, which of course it's a prerequisite for the management decisions. And then we will shortly also have a look on the, let's say, agile resource planning. That's how we call it, because it's a I would say compromise between the very complex like a planning of the resources based on the hours. So this is most likely like a high level view how to allocate the persons per concrete projects. And then of course, as was said, like it will be really the pleasure to introduce Ben from Analytium company, who will also present his experience from Easy Redmine and especially from the resource management plugin, right? So there will be always like one slide, like a theoretical, and then of course, like I will switch to the practical example within the application. So firstly, reservations. So I'm pretty sure if you are the company which is let's say, planning the projects in the future, let's say in the upcoming quarter or in the next half of the year. So you need to have an outlook on the, let's say, the visibility of the capacities, right? And in that case, in order to prevent any potential conflicts, because of course the demands are coming, right, from your cases, from your projects. So then you want to, let's say, reserve your popular or key users from the past. So if you want to reserve them, so you can do that within the application. So we do have that feature in a place, so you can reserve the guy in a next quarter. And it works basically like a virtual reservation, which is very similar to the classic task, right? So here in the, let's say, left bottom corner, you can see the screen, like, which is representing the reservation itself. It has a similar as a task, like a start date, due date. But in addition, you have a chance to reserve it in a percentage, which of course allows you like to do not go so much in the detail, because you don't know if in the March, in the next year, you will know like if you need someone for 100 hours, but you of course know that you will the most probably need him for the 50%, right? So it allows you like to split these bookings based on the approximate number, approximate percentage. So I really like it, and that's as far as I've seen it from the customer's perspective. They like it too. But how does it work in the reality? So let's switch to the application, and then I will jump into the resources, to the resource view. So here you can see like this seems to be like an ideal situation that each person, or almost each person, there seems to be a couple of gaps within the timeline, but almost all of the persons has some allocation, which is of course good for me if I'm the head of this team. But if I want to see the reservations, how does it work? So I will just expand some of the guys, like for example, Christian or Connie. And here you can see they do have a reservation for the potential project, right? Like a new project for Fiat, new project for Opel. So coming from the automotive business. And then of course, this could be really like a potential. So the case where you have a high probability that you will win it. So then you can basically book it in this like an orange noddle, which is representing here in the bracket the number of the hours which are needed. And then of course in the future, once you will win the case and you will create the project itself in the Easy Redmine, so you can simply click on it and then delete it, right? But how to do that? How to create the reservation? So let's start from the scratch. So for example, I see like a Konstantin, and then he seems to be pretty non-active, like in an upcoming quarter, like a March and April. I see there is a gap. So let me just click by right mouse button, and I'm just holding the button and just moving for the timeline where I feel I will need a Konstantin, right? So I will just book him for the ±2 months, and I will release the button. And of course I can put in here like a new project for Ford if we are in the automotive. So I will book it for Ford. And here is the start date and due date. So it's based on the clicking what you have seen on the timeline. And plus a set, like you can visualize it in the percentage of in hours. So if I will put there like I need a Konstantin for the 50%, so the system will automatically like recalculate the amount of the hours between start date and due date, which is basically 100, so it's a double. And then if I will just split it like a 50% of that amount, so of course it will visualize as 136 hours, right? But you can do it vice versa. So if you know precisely, all right, I will need him for the 100 hours, so you can type it in here, and then it will be recalculated in the percentage, right? But of course, to be honest, my recommendation, because it is like an upcoming future and I'm not so much accurate if I will book him like precisely for the hours, so I will do it in a percentage, right? So just clicking on the save, and then it means like that this new booking for the Ford has appeared in here, right? And it works in the very same principle as a classic task, right? So here you can see like on the top, there is a summary of the hours over that week, because now I'm in the week view. So there is of course the summary of the hours, which indicate, all right, there seems to be a problem. So he is already overloaded. So of course I can shuffle it somewhere or just reassign it to someone else. But in the principle, it works as said, like as a task, but it has a different visualization. But then, of course, it will help you to prevent, as said, mostly the goal of this exercise is to prevent like the conflict with another project manager who will come and said, all right, I need a Konstantin, let's say somewhere in the April, but you said, all right, but I was first. So, and mostly who is the first is winning. So I suppose it will be also this case. So that's the principle of the reservations, right? And then we can jump in back and have a look on the second point, which is related to, just a second. Yeah, here it is. Which is related to allocations, right? So if you are, let's say, again, the company which is not just only planning the projects in the future, but of course, in a reality, you need to somehow reprocess the demands which are coming from another, let's say, multiple projects at the very same time. So then you need to have a process in a place, right, where the most probably is involved like a multiple departments, like someone who is requesting, like a project manager. Then you have someone who is like a linear, or like a lead of the team or the head of the department. And then, of course, in a very, let's say, complex setup, or the bigger companies, corporates, there is always a PMO, like a project management office, who is also like a deciding based on the priorities from these demands from these multiple projects, like who is winning, right? And in order to secure that process, so of course we do have like a plugin in a place, and that's of course the resource management. But with a small extension, with a small hack, you can basically even keep it more powerful, which means, and that's basically what you see here on the screen. Here is a table, for example, with the competencies. So let's imagine that you are the, let's say, head of the development team, and now the demands are coming, right? And you know, like, hey, one demand is related to one technology, another demand is for another technology, and then you want to assign accordingly, right? Who will be the best fit for that particular activity. So then you can create the table like here it is, and I will show you in a minute in application. And then based on the required skills, you can assign the particular person, right? The best of the best who could reprocess it, and basically who is available. That's of course the key element, that guy who is fitting to the competence needs to be available. So, and then for that purpose, of course, we do have another plugin, which is for the kind of visualizing of the vacations, right? So then you can see like a combination who is like a skillful for that activity, of course, who is available, who has a potentially planned vacation, and then you could be shuffling with the resources based on your need, and then of course assigned. How does it work in reality? So let's switch to application again. And then I have prepared like one project, which is called, right now we will be mostly in IT, right? So I'm sorry for the guys who are from a different industry, but now we will be talking about the project, which is for the development of the new company website. So let's imagine that if you want to create a new website, then you need to have like a graphical design. You need to know about architecture. Then you have to, let's say, establish some logic on the back end. Then the design, the front end, how the pages are behaving. And of course, I put in here like a client zone to keep the web page more powerful. And then if we have, of course, the timeline, right, or the length of the task is, of course, one of the prerequisite. But then another one is related to the estimates, right? So you as a project manager, you, of course, know plus minus, like what's the estimate. So if we will have a look, for example, on the graphical design, so you as a project manager, together with your team, you can put there like a rough estimate, let's say 100 hours, which is visible in here. And then, of course, you can follow the same logic for very same tasks, right? Like, for example, content front end, let's put there 300 hours for the reprocessing. And then once you know that, so now you are the most probably searching for the resources, right? So who will do that? But of course, right now you don't know who is available, and then you don't have a privilege used to assign the concrete person, because you don't know about any other projects where that guy belongs to. So how to let's say rephrase it into the flow as we have been discussing, like, hey, the demand is coming and then someone else is trying to resolve the demand. So you can simply activate, if I could recommend, you can simply activate into the tools. There is a section like a bulk edit. So just select bulk edit and I can quickly mark just the task by this way, clicking right mouse button and assigning it to the team. So I don't need to assign it to the concrete person, but let's put it the team, right? So in my case, I know that I will need a bunch of the developers who will develop this new web page. So I will do that in that manner, like assign it to the devel team, right? But don't forget that once you are creating the new project, you have to put as a team members, the devel team, right? So if you have that group within your Easy Redmine, so that would be perfect fit. So don't forget to create a new group, put into the group like the developers. I can even show it to you as a reference, just FYI. So of course, like groups are here. And then I have created a group like a devel team, and there are these users, right? These guys. And now we will continue in the flow. So now I have sent as a project manager the demand for the resources. So what could be the upcoming step? So let me switch to the different role. So let's imagine that right now I am a linear manager. So I am the head of the department of these developers, right? So I'm the leader of the devel team. And then for that purpose, I have created here the like one page, which is containing the resource management plugin, as you know already. And then for another complexity, I put in here like the vacations, right? So I see in the classic list view, like what are the approved vacation, what are the waiting for approval. Of course, to see it on the one page, because I need to know the context, right? So until I will approve the vacation to someone, I need to be sure that there is no conflict on the project, right? So that would be beneficial to see it on the one page. And then in addition, I've created in here, like on the right side, this is the I call it like a competence metrics, which is nothing else than just the simple table, right? So it's like a custom table, which is containing the list of my employees within the team, within the devel team, right? And here you can see the competencies in the columns, like a Adobe, like a graphical design, Java, backend, so .NET also for the backend, frontend, JavaScript, SQL, blah, blah, blah. So those are the competencies. And then for my purpose, and as far as I know how the another line managers are working, I put in here the ranking, like from 1 to 5. So 1 like a low skill set, or how to call it, and then the 5, it seems to be like a Superman in that technology, right? So just for your reference, before I will move on, so how if you have it is built based on the plugin which is called configuration and asset management. Here it is, like asset and configuration management. I can click on it, and I have created this custom table, right? So here it is. So just it is super simple. So because then you can create like a new record if you want to extend the team. So now I will put there the different name, like a Dario Lingolio, and then I can put there like the how do I feel his experience in such technology, right? So very quickly, let's put it there, like a new team member. And now I will return back, and after the refresh of the page, I hopefully see the Dario in the table, right? So he should be somewhere on the bottom, I suppose. No, it's on the top. So Dario is here, right? So he could be probably the guy which I can use for the assignment. So now let's imagine I do have all of the prerequisites in a place, and I can see like the demands. So if I will have a look here, so there is a group which is called devel team. So all of the demands are basically, if you assign it to the devel team, so all of the demands are, let's say, ending here. And here you can see also the new company website. So that's a project what we are approaching. And of course, I can see in the details like, hey, this is a graphical design, content front end, architecture, client zone, and then of course the timeline. And now I can decide to whom to assign the tasks, right? So for reference, if I will select, for example, the front end, so I know that we are developing the web pages in a JavaScript, right? So now I'm searching for someone acknowledged in JavaScript, but during that time, that guy also needs to be available. So let's have a look who is available here. So it's a Rupert, so he's completely empty, and then Peter, right? So let's have a look into the table and see if a Peter is acknowledged in the JavaScript. So let's scroll a bit. So graphical design number 3, all right, that would be a good fit, and JavaScript it's 1. So that won't fit because he has a poor knowledge. But how about the Rupert, another guy? Like, Adobe, so for the design number 4, and then for the JavaScript number 4. So that sounds like a better fit. And I can clearly say, all right, let's assign the task for the front end to Rupert, right? So I will drag the task and drop it to Rupert, right? And then I will make an assignment. Of course, I can click save and that's it. And in that case, I can follow in the very same principle the rest of the assignment. So again, like a graphical design. So who else is acknowledged and who could basically design the look of the application? So I have seen the pattern number 3 for the design of, okay, so that would probably fit. I can assign it to Peter, and then the same logic architecture. All right, who else could be the guy who can do that, and then we can basically follow based on the skill set table, right? So that's the logic. That's the logic behind how you could operate within your teams. So you can create the groups. So this is nothing else than just the group, and you can visualize it on your resource management for your department, right? Cool. So that was an example like how to operate within the let's say allocation. If you have like a parallel approach, parallel projects at the very same time, and you want to be somehow working in the principle, hey, this is a demand, this is like a new request, and then someone needs to resolve it. All right. So that was regarding to allocations. And now, of course, I assume like if you are the head of the department, or if you are contributing with your, let's say, top management, so they will be definitely focusing on the something which is called utilization, which means that all of your employees are allocated, and there is no so much, let's say, spare places where they have nothing to do, right? So if I will simplify it, this could be like a condition for let's say another decision, if to hire someone else or to, for example, release someone else. Especially nowadays, if you are working in services, right? So if you are from that area, so where the business is very turbulent, so then you have a peaks, like you have a lot of work, a lot of upcoming projects, and then on the other hand, like the next month, it is basically decreasing dramatically. So then you need to be able to react on that situation. And then if you are in the services, so of course, I'm pretty sure you have even the contractors within your team. So then it could fit into your strategy that you can easily and quickly hop on someone and hop off someone, right? Just in a case of the, let's say, business is growing or is decreasing. And for that purpose, of course, this resource, we call it like a resource report, is something which I hope could be beneficial for you, because it is again this screen. This screen is again visualizing the list of the employees, then the capacity. The capacity is reduced about the vacations and bank holidays, logically. So of course, this is a week view, right? So I suppose you got it, like there is a 40 hours a week, but for example, Martin is on vacation, 8 hours. So of course it's reduced. And then there is a allocation element, which means if that guy is, let's say, allocated, or it means like assigned on the task, and the task has an estimate, right? So it means like you have enough work for that person, for that guy. And then of course the, let's say, allocation percentage is a scale which is, let's say, calculated from the capacity versus, let's say, allocation. And then I'm pretty sure, or especially, let's say, from my clients and then from the services areas, then they have a target, right? So it means like each department has a target, like, hey, the developers should be utilized like a 70% on the billable cases. and 30% on the non-billable. And if this is not happening, so of course we need to be deciding somehow. And that's the goal, like to visualize that statistic, right? And in that case, we can have a look on it in the application, right? So for that purpose, I have also created on page, which is called Devel Team Utilization. So I'm again visualizing my team, like starting from Danny, ending with Saul. And then as you have seen on the picture, so capacity, yeah, the demand, pardon. So this is a font of the hours, then the allocation. So the hours which are assigned on the task for that person, and then of course the allocation. And what I really see as a beneficial is also like a total average. So if this will be the reality, so I'm candidate to be fired off from the company because my department is utilized just only for the 20%, which is definitely low, and I suppose like the management is requiring much more. So in my case, I have just visualized here the week view. So usually the companies are monitoring it on the weekly basis, especially in these days, very turbulent business. And then in addition, of course, I have put in here like another statistics, like if someone is monitoring like estimated versus spend time in order to see the let's say the ratio, how the developers are estimating versus how the amount of the hours is consumed, right, from these tasks. So that's of course one of the elements which could be beneficial, because for example here in that case, like there is estimated hours like 470 and then spend time 61. So it was overestimated at the beginning, and then finally the Julio is a great Superman because he has resolved it in a very short way. And then of course, as said, the most probably you are also measuring as one of the KPI the billability versus non-billability. So in that case, if you are the user of the Easy Redmine, you know that there is a tag, there is a checkbox on the, let's say, spend time level, that if someone is reporting the hours, so he can check like if it is billable or non-billable activity. And then of course afterwards you can see the trend, like, hey, is the work spent on the team basis. So now I am visualizing the whole team, right? So if the team is mostly working on the let's say paid businesses, or if it is internal approach, right? So that could be also from time to time beneficial for you. So that's the resource report. It has a multiple settings, right? So of course, if you want to help with that, just contact us. But at the end, it could looks like this one, of course, or of course you can even visualize in the graphical form. So, but I'm the fan of the table view. Let's jump into another topic: agile resource management. So as said, like during the agenda presentation, like the agile resource management is most likely for the leaders who don't need to go so much into detail, so who don't need to see like a task visualization, or just they wants to visualize like the project and then the person which are working on that. So just to allocate a concrete person for the let's say on the timeline, right? And that's enough just to see the potential conflicts, but you are not getting into the precise numbers like hours, right? And there is of course like a plenty of the, let's say, benefits, or what I would consider as a beneficial for you. One of those is also the skill set. So yeah, I have shown you before like the competence metrics, which is basically my workaround in form of the custom table. But now within the agile resource management, there is an implemented feature already, which is showing like based on the category, the skill set, and then also the rating. And there is also something which I would say it's a compromise towards to the baselines. So if you want to make a snapshot, like how the resources are planned, because I know it from the reality, like 1 week you are planning the resources and the second week is completely destroyed because of another priorities, another projects, conflicts, and yeah. So, but you want to baseline it and just to store somewhere what was the original plan, for example. So in that case, we can jump into application to have a look how does it work. I just also create one page for it, and here you can see like it's pretty nice, I would say, very easy to manage. So it's like yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody will get it. So it's very close to the classic Gantt chart. So this seems to be like I have a project, so those are the list of the projects, like a phase 1, phase 2, Kanban software development, those are the projects. And here is a list of the resources, right? And then you could be shuffling with the resources where you feel you will need that, on which project. So you can even create like a multiple assignments for the projects. Like if I want to assign the Peter to another project, I can click in here, add worker, put there like a Peter. Let's put it there. And then I can create like this one, right? And then there is autosave, so it's automatically saved. And then, of course, in a different view on the personal level, so you will see the conflict itself, because the Peter is right now working in the very same time on the 2 cases, so which will show you like the conflict itself. But as said, there are no hours, right? So it's just like there is overlap of these 2 lines. But how does it work? Super simple. I will add in here like a new project, I can put there like audits, add the new project. And then afterwards, I can complete the team, right? So I will add the worker, so I can select someone, but even based on the skills, right? So I want to have there like a Danny, because he's acknowledged in Ruby and Vue.js, like a developer. And who else? Like the project manager. All right, let's put him there. And then I suppose like a couple of another guys. And this will be basically my team who is working on the project called audits. And then me as a project manager, I can shuffle the with a timeline. And so I said like super easy, but of course it's for the, I would say, basic resource management. And then of course, if you want to see the conflict, so then you can jump into the personal view, where you can see also the competencies, right? So here is the list of the employees with the competencies. By the way, if there is a ranking, so you will see the stars filled somehow. And then yeah, here it is. So you can see the conflict for the Peter. So there is an overlap, like this is one project and another project, and they are a bit in a conflict. So if you are again the linear manager or team lead, you need to resolve it somehow. So that's like a personal view. But then if you want to see like teams, so I'm pretty sure like you do have your teams. Let's imagine that if we are in IT, so I will have like a front end developers, like a team. I will put there like a Scrum team. I can even put there the color. And then of course it works like in a different manner. So if I have a team, so I can put there of course the workers, first of all, to complete the team. And then I can assign the projects there, right? So for example, these guys will be working on this and that project, right? So the team could work on these projects. And then you see even more like this parallel allocation, right? So here you can see like a signal, all right, there seems to be something which is in a conflict with you, like a front end, Kanban, audit. So those are another projects which are in a conflict to your timeline, right? But as said, mostly the basic resources planning, and it's especially useful for the companies where you don't have like a too robust team, and then you can allocate much easier if you are, for example, sitting in the very same office. So that was it regarding to the agile resource management. And in that case, it's my pleasure to introduce, let's say, Ben Dorothy from Analytium company, like a head of operations. We have been implementing the Easy Redmine together with Ben in his company, and then I really appreciate like he's reserved the time to present us like some of his experience. He is kind of being using the Easy Redmine, and especially the resource management. So Ben, if you are ready, so it's your round.
Thank you, Peter. Hello, everybody. So, yeah, I'm going to just talk you through how we at Analytium are currently using Easy Redmine, and specifically the resource management component. So I've not got slides, but I'm going to share my screen and talk you through some of the pages, the tools that we're using. But as a bit of background, we've been using Easy Redmine now for about 18 months. So when we first brought it in, we used it straight out of the box, didn't really customize it to start with. We just wanted to get used to it and learn how to work with it. But over that time, we have obviously learned more and started to customize the application to work with us in the best way. So I'll share my screen and start with just a bit of background as to how we're using the application. So we're a professional services company, we data and analytics consultancy, and we run projects which we classify in a few different ways. So we've got, as you can see on the screen, hopefully you can see my screen, we've got a whole portfolio of projects which are, got a thumbs up, thanks, are segregated into internal admin projects. So this is the projects where we track our time to run the business. Our own internal projects where we deliver products for our company internally. Then we have the client-based projects. So these are consultancy services, maintenance and support, and resource-only type projects. So that's the type of projects we set up. They're all managed in the traditional waterfall methodology. We've done a few agile type deliveries, but primarily we work under that traditional waterfall. So obviously we've got projects, and then we've got a team of consultants. So similar to what Peter has explained already, we have customized Easy Redmine to create some groups. So each user, and there's me as an example, is associated with a group within our organization. So we're all associated with Analytium Group, and then we are associated with one or many of our other groups. So as you can see, we've got different communities or hubs that group together the various types of resource we've got in the consultancy. All of our consultants and users of Easy Redmine have skills, and we capture and the skills that our consultants have and the skill ratings that they carry as well. So these are two sort of key concepts that we use and help us in our resource management by using the groups, projects and skills. It helps us plan using those different lenses over the resource. So what I'll go to now is just hide the bar at the top of the screen. Make that a bit bigger. Okay. So I'll move into the resource management view. As you can see, using the groups and the skills that I've mentioned already, we've got a series of filters that we've set up the resource management view. So these are all all in the global resource management plugin. We can see the utilization or allocation of resource across the entire consultancy. We can have a view of that by each of our hubs, and we can also view the resource based upon the different skills we have and the different skill levels we record against those users as well. So this is the main tool we use for managing resource allocations. All of the resource allocating we do is primarily done by project managers or our PMO team. We maintain plans and allocations on a daily and weekly basis. But when it comes to planning for our pipeline of work and forecasting, we also utilize the reservations functionality in this view. So we meet weekly with our sales team. We talk about the new sales opportunities that we're working on. And when opportunities are nearing a time of confidence where we want to start to plan in resources, we would do that in this view. So as you can see, against myself, I've just expanded here, me as a user. I've got a reservation made against me for some potential projects that might land in January. We obviously, you've got the option, as Peter explained, to allocate a reservation against an individual. You can also allocate it against an existing project. So we often have change requests or new scope into existing projects. So we could, if we wanted to, we could allocate this reservation, which at the moment is for a brand new project. We could actually associate it with an existing project if we wanted to. We also allocate to resource groups as well. So if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that we make same allocations to groups of common resources. So we've made the same allocation to our Azure Analytics resource group, and we've made a reservation against the cloud infrastructure resource group as well. Okay, the next part I'll show is that we also, if we can obviously drill down, and at the moment I'm looking at the global resource view, but we can drill into a skill view. And if we look at the skill for SAS data visualization experts, we filter down the list to those resources which have that particular skill set. And we can be more specific to what the type of resource we need and allocate it there as well. So we've also made the same allocation against Stefan in this case for the same project. And yeah, so I think that covers how we're allocating against individuals, projects, and resource groups. We have also briefly trialed the use of the Agile resource tool, but because of the level of detail that we are planning at, and we estimate also at a task level for all of the projects we do, whether they're fixed price or T&M. We always estimate at a task level, so we tend to it tends to steer us towards using the resource management plugin rather than the Agile resource tool. However, there are some aspects of the tool I really like in the Agile resource tool. For example, I really do like the way you can hover over a resource. I can hover over myself here and actually see the ratings that we've got, or the skill levels we've got, and the skills that individual has got. So it can obviously help you in making the right choices in allocating work. That's a really useful feature. It'd be great to have something like that in the resource management tool. But the way we're getting around it at the moment is obviously by creating these custom filters which are using the the skills plugin. The next tab I've got open here is generally on reporting. So we use the existing reporting within the application. We've not made any customizations to it, but it's useful for us to get a snapshot view of our position. So you can see at the moment our allocation chart showing the resource we've allocated versus the time spent. What is important to us is that obviously client projects or billable work is most important to us. So it's the priority when it comes to resource allocation. When we've got consultants on the bench, we then need to ensure that we're utilising them internally on our own internal projects or admin in the right way. So this there are some changes we want to make to some of the reports in here to bring through that classification of billable and non-billable work to help us get better utilisation rates on our resources. So this is the main dashboard we use for reporting there. And as Peter mentioned, the resource capacity is another key one as well. It negates us needing to go into a great detail. If we want to go and just have a look at general availability across resources, this is a really really powerful view for us to give us that. Or for anybody, not just project managers and the PMO team, any other managers can use this view and quickly make some informed decisions about some potential resource allocations or projects we've got coming up. And I think that covers the main points of how we're using the application at the moment. We've got more plans to make further customizations in the system. The focus is always on resource utilization and allocation, and we want to start to pull through some of the profitability metrics within using Redmine to that resource view as well. So that's like the next area of focus for us. And obviously we're always looking forward to seeing what the upcoming releases are on Easy Redmine, especially in the resource management space, and continue our journey to adopt as many of the features as possible. So I think that's all from me.
All right.
Just a quick comment at the end. So we really appreciate it, Ben. It's like a window to the reality, and we appreciate it especially because of the fact I have seen in the resource capacity report that you seems to be very overloaded. So in that case, really appreciate your time for the presentation.
No problem.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Ben. All right, so I'm going to continue right now. Guys, thank you so much to both our gentlemen for sharing the interesting examples, and useful information on this topic. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I guess we now are moving to the next phase of the webinar, and that is the second question about the what you just saw. So my question is, which I'm going to send on your screen, who is responsible for assigning human resources to the project in your team or in your department? So here you should see right now the question and the answers on your screen. So go ahead, choose one of those answers. We would love to see, we would love to know who is responsible for it. Oh, that's a really tough fight. Okay. Project manager, line manager. Yeah, it's almost equal. 2% difference. Okay. Nobody, top management, PMO. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop the pool right now at this moment. Thank you so much for all your answers. And these are the results. The winner is project manager, and right behind him is a line manager. And last but not least, top management. And there is 4% for nobody. Okay, thank you so much. Well, that was the question, and I'm going to stop sharing it. And now comes the moment we have, let's say, 9 minutes, 10 minutes for some Q&A questions. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and Peter, I'm going to pick a couple of questions from you who asked, and Peter is going to answer them. So let's say Fatima, I can see right here how the skills tab is created on the users page. Is it hard coded or can be configured? Peter?
Yes, the skill tab is getting from the Agile Resource Management plugin. So if you have it in your package, so it's connected to it. But then if you want to configure it, so then you need to go to the administration, and then there is a section for the adjusting of this catalog. So I can even shortly show it to you, like to be precise. And let me share the screen again, just to be beneficial. Hopefully you see it. And then here is a section like a categories, right? And within the categories, there is a section called Agile Resource Management, and there are the skills, right? So if you want to adjust it, rename it, or put there like a new skill, so feel free, and then you can put there like another programming language in this case, and just click it there. Yeah, it's already existing, so like a Python, for example. And so then you can extend it. But the ultimate answer is it is connected with the Agile Resource Management plugin, and then it will automatically appear on the user level perspective with the skills which are configured here in the settings, right? So administration setting, administration categories, and then on the bottom Agile Resource Management.
All right, thank you so much. So we have another question from Emily. What is the better view to check the allocation of the team members who is working on a several project weekly? Is it the view with the tasks or with the projects?
It's a good question. It's of course it matters. Like if you are the person who is preferring like to see because from the other hand, like if you will switch it to the, let's say, task view, so of course then you will see on the very same row also the project, right? So you will see the task, and then you can put it here like a project as it is here. So you no need to basically group it based on the project as it is in my case. So this is the view where it is grouped based on the project, right? But on the other hand, of course, you can deactivate it and just put there the tasks, right? And then you will see the projects itself. But my preference, my recommendation, or at least from my clients, so I would say like the grouping based on the project, it's something which is more, or which is commonly used, right? So this view is basically the something which is popular.
All right, thank you so much. And we have one more question to ask from Johan. In attribution report, sometimes it displays big load on some months that cannot be addressed by the available resources. Is the tool able to suggest other time reportation? So I'm sorry, repartition to spread the overload automatically to next month that have a free resources?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, and then Johan, you are not the first one who is asking for it. So this, I would say, automate recalculation, let's say, in a matter of the, let's say, moving the or spare hours or even the overloaded hours towards to another period. It's something which is missing, unfortunately. So yeah, I will keep you a bit disappointed, but feel free to raise this topic to our product board. So I'm not sure if you know it, but we do have something which we call product board. We can send it afterwards, the link. And then if you will have enough likes, so I'm pretty sure like the product team will consider it for the extension, right? But you are not the first one. You are not the first one who is asking for it.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter. And I think we have one more question We have still time for one more question, so I'm going to pick Linda. Our biz dev team usually ask for particular team leaders. When is the earliest that the team can start on the potential project? Can you show how these would be accomplished?
That's a good point. That's a good point. For that purpose, just for probably I will need a bit clarification regarding to this topic, like to see the soonest start for your team in order to be working on it. Of course, the ultimate answer could be like, let's have a look into the Gantt chart as it is here, and then see who is the in the nearest future available, and then assign it accordingly. But if you are searching for, again, like any automate mechanism which will trigger you like, hey, like this day could be the best starting day for your activities because of this and that. So the logic is not in place. So it's always like a visual decision, right? So then you need to have a look in here and said, all right, so there seems to be the less risky period. So let's drag the task and then drop it to the period where you feel like, hey, this could be the best starting point. But there are no another, let's say, automate prerequisites, like including the risks or whatever, like to decide when is the best period to start. So yeah, I got your point, but yeah, the system is not so much, I would say, clever to let's say, automate it somehow and suggest.
All right. So that was the last question. Thank you so much, Peter, for all the answers. Thank you for the presentation. Once again, Ben, thank you so much to arrive to tell us really interesting information, how you are using it over there, guys. And I think with that, that was the last thing. Just don't leave yet, please. Yeah, because we still have some survey for you. So right after the end of this webinar, you are going to be presented with survey to give us some feedback. I would like to also thank to you guys, to attendees, to all you who actually found some time in your busy schedules to see the webinar about resource management. Thank you so much, guys. I hope to see you next time on the next webinar. And that is technically from our side everything what we can share. Have a beautiful day and take care.